Have you ever seen an elderly person quietly wiping away tears on a park bench, or heard your aging parent cry softly behind closed doors and wondered why? Why does it seem like tears flow more freely in old age? Is it just about physical frailty? Or is there something deeper, a storm of memories, regrets, and silent battles the rest of us don't see? Growing old isn't just about gray hair and slower steps. It's an emotional transformation, one that brings joys, yes, but also unexpected griefs. Today we'll uncover 6 powerful emotional truths behind why so many seniors cry more often, and why we need to stop brushing those tears aside. Point number 1. The weight of memories and regrets. As people age, they begin to look back, sometimes fondly, but often with a heavy heart. Life becomes a series of memories, some sweet, but many laced with regret. Elderly individuals carry decades of life inside them. Friendships lost, dreams unfulfilled, mistakes made, chances never taken. This emotional inventory hits harder in later years. They begin to ask, did I do enough? Or, what if I had chosen differently? These questions can trigger intense feelings of remorse. Some elderly individuals might recall harsh words they never took back, relationships they never mended, or ambitions they never pursued. Unlike in youth, where the future holds endless possibilities, the elderly live with the understanding that some doors have closed forever. That thought alone can bring tears to their eyes. For many, these regrets are not shared. They quietly relive them in silence during sleepless nights or in lonely afternoons where their minds drift into what could have been. This unspoken burden often surfaces through tears, not just sadness but a release, a mourning of lives partially unlived. In caregiving environments, therapists often note how older adults become more emotional during reminiscence therapy. Just recalling old songs or stories can bring on tears. These aren't just sentimental reactions, they're deep emotional reckonings. Crying, in these moments, is the soul's way of processing decades of buried emotion. So next time you see an elderly person cry, remember, those tears may carry entire lifetimes of memory. Point number 2. Loneliness that feels like a shadow. Aging often brings isolation. Children move out, spouses pass away, friends grow distant, and the world that once felt full begins to shrink. The home becomes quieter, days grow longer, and silence becomes a daily companion. It's no surprise that loneliness is one of the biggest emotional weights on the elderly. While we may be surrounded by technology and connected online, for older adults, real human interaction is harder to come by. Their social circles diminish naturally, and with declining mobility or health, even visiting a friend or neighbor can feel impossible. Many elderly people spend entire days without meaningful conversation. This absence of connection creates an emotional vacuum that tears often fill. Psychologists often say that loneliness is as harmful as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. But unlike physical ailments, this emotional pain isn't always visible. You won't see a cast or bandage. Instead, you might hear it in a shaky voice or notice it in tear-filled eyes during short visits. What's worse is that many elders feel forgotten. Birthdays pass without calls, holidays feel hollow, and the simple joy of someone asking, "How are you feeling today?" disappears. Crying becomes a form of communication, a way of saying, "I still need to be seen. I still need to matter." And loneliness isn't just about being physically alone. It's about feeling emotionally disconnected even when others are around. Many elderly individuals cry not just from absence, but from invisibility. Point number 3. Facing mortality and the fear of the unknown. One of the most profound reasons elderly individuals cry more frequently is the unavoidable awareness of death. In younger years, death feels far away, something abstract, but in old age it becomes very real. They attend more funerals, lose lifelong friends, and feel their own body changing in ways they can't control. Even the strongest individuals with deep faith or philosophical calm often face moments of fear, not just of death, but of dying, alone, of suffering, of being forgotten. These thoughts can come suddenly in the middle of the night or during a quiet meal, and with them come the tears. The fear isn't always about the act of dying, it's about what they'll leave behind. Will my children be okay? Did I leave a good legacy? What will happen to my belongings, my stories, my memories? These internal dialogues build up quietly, and crying becomes a way to process the uncertainty. Hospice workers and geriatric counselors often speak about the emotional vulnerability seniors express when they open up about their mortality. Some feel ready, but most carry a mix of peace and sorrow. A sorrow for leaving, for the things undone, and for the people they will miss. Interestingly, talking about death often reduces the frequency of such tears. When elderly individuals are allowed space to speak openly, without being shut down with phrases like, "Don't think that way," their anxiety lessens. Crying in such moments is a natural and even healthy response. It's not weakness, it's honesty. And it's something all of us will likely face too. Point number 4, physical pain that becomes emotional. As the body ages, physical pain becomes a daily reality. Joint aches, back pain, muscle weakness, vision, and hearing loss. These issues may seem small individually, but together, they chip away at a person's independence and dignity. What many people don't realize is that chronic physical discomfort often leads to emotional tears. Imagine waking up every day with pain, needing help for basic things like putting on socks or struggling to hold a spoon. This constant frustration doesn't just hurt physically, it deeply affects a person's spirit. When you're young, you can shake off minor pains, but for seniors, even slight movements can be exhausting. Over time, this helplessness becomes humiliating. They may feel like a burden to their family even when they're not. These emotions are powerful, and they come out as tears of frustration, not just sadness. Furthermore, pain often leads to sleep disturbances which worsen emotional regulation. With less rest, the brain becomes more reactive. That's why some elderly individuals cry over things that may seem small, a misplaced item, a delayed visit, or a moment of confusion. It's not about the event, it's about the weight of their daily struggle. In healthcare settings, recognizing the link between chronic pain and emotional expression is crucial. Rather than dismissing tears as moodiness, caregivers need to see them as signals, cries for comfort, dignity, and support. Their tears are not weakness. They're the language of a body and soul in distress. Point number 5, feeling forgotten or unvalued. One of the hardest emotions elderly people deal with is the feeling that they are no longer needed. After retirement, after the kids have grown, many seniors begin to ask themselves, what is my purpose now? They may have been parents, professionals, caregivers, people whose days were filled with responsibility and contribution. Now, many wake up to days with no tasks, no calls, no place to be. This shift can be deeply destabilizing. The sense of self-worth begins to erode, and with it comes grief. In cultures where elders are honored and involved, this transition is gentler. But in many societies, aging is seen as decline, not wisdom. Seniors feel pushed to the margins, not because they want to leave, but because no one pulls them back in. And so they cry, not just out of boredom, but because they miss being part of something bigger. They want to share their advice, their stories, their talents, but often, no one asks. Their life feels like a book no one wants to read anymore. Tears in these moments reflect more than sadness. They represent a cry for validation. They want to hear, "You still matter, we still need you." Small gestures can help heal this. Asking an elder for guidance, involving them in family decisions, inviting them to share a story at dinner. These moments remind them that their wisdom isn't obsolete, it's invaluable. Point number 6. Emotional sensitivity deepens with age. As people age, their emotional filters often soften. The walls they built over a lifetime to stay strong, to not show weakness, begin to crumble. What once seemed trivial now touches them deeply. A child's hug, a kind gesture, an old photograph, all can bring tears instantly. This isn't a flaw, it's a transformation. Age often brings greater empathy and connection to the emotional world. Seniors feel more because they've lived more. They've known loss, love, sacrifice, and endurance. And now, with fewer distractions, they feel everything more vividly. In neurological studies, it's been shown that as the brain ages, emotional regulation changes. The amygdala, the brain's emotional center, becomes more reactive. Seniors aren't necessarily too sensitive. They are simply more attuned to feelings. This is why elderly people might cry during a TV commercial, a family reunion, or even a memory of a long-past pet. They are not losing control. They are finally letting go of decades of bottled emotion. For families and caregivers, understanding this change is essential. Don't mock these tears. Don't rush to fix them. Sometimes the best response is simply sitting nearby, offering a tissue and saying, "It's okay to feel this," because after a lifetime of being strong, these tears may be the most honest thing they've ever shared. Aging is not just a biological process, it's an emotional journey. Behind every wrinkle lies a story, and behind every tear shed by an elderly person, there's a lifetime of memories, regrets, love, loss, and wisdom. It's easy to overlook the quiet tears of our elders, to dismiss them as fragile or overly sensitive. But those tears, they carry the weight of decades. They come from hearts that have loved deeply, hurt silently, and sacrificed endlessly. In our busy lives, we often forget that our elders are not just old people. They are living libraries of experience. Many of them cry not because they are weak, but because they've been strong for far too long. They held families together, worked tirelessly, endured pain silently, and stood tall through storms. And now, in the twilight of their lives, when they finally slow down, everything they once buried begins to surface. Sometimes as a sigh, sometimes as a silent tear. We must stop and ask ourselves, have we truly been listening? Have we been present? Have we honored their journey or just tolerated their existence? These questions matter, because one day we too will grow old. One day we too may cry quietly in the corner of a room, hoping someone notices, hoping someone cares. Let's not wait until it's too late. Spend time with your elders. Ask them about their past. Hug them a little longer. Let them cry and let them know it's okay. Sometimes just being there is enough. Sometimes listening without offering solutions is the greatest act of love. Tears are not weakness. They are emotional truths leaking out of souls that have seen too much and spoken too little. Respect those truths, learn from them, grow from them,